Hi, welcome back to this channel, Tea Time with Peace and Joy. This is Doris. So today I'm going to talk to you about immigration. So I guess when you're watching this channel in English, probably you may not, I don't know, you may or may not be an immigrant, but since you know this channel is in Cantonese as well, and in Hong Kong a lot of people moved to other countries in the past few years, so I just want to have this series to talk about tips on adjusting after you move to another country. However, I really believe the things that I said today will even apply for when you're getting a new job or adjusting to any type of environment, even like moving across the country or something like that. Okay, so let's get started. According to a lot of researchers, there are basically 3 stages, and you'll think like it's common sense after I tell you, but I want to give you the stages because I want you to have hope if you are in difficulties, and you will know. Okay, the first stage is that when they just move to another country or a place, they will be really excited because there are a lot of new things happening, new house, new everything, so they will be really excited, and usually there won't be a lot of problems because people are excited and happy at that time. However, later on they may be going into stage 2, which they may encounter some kind of difficulties or disappointments, and so it's hard. It's starting to get hard, and then stage 3 gives us hope because eventually people may adjust, and usually how they adjust is by changing their expectations, because we may have unrealistic expectations when we first move to a place or move across countries or move to another country, right? So by adjusting it and trying to do things to help yourself, that will definitely get you into stage 3 sooner. So I'm going to talk about tips on immigration in psychologically in 3 different videos, and today is the first one. I want to really dive deep into every single point that I'm going to give you, and so today we are just going to touch upon 2 things first. The first one is do not compare and focus on the positive side. Really, like when we first move to a place, we may be really excited, but then after a while you may start comparing, like where I came from is like this, I'm so used to that, and why is like this here. So even for example, if you live in the city, New York City or Boston or whatever, and then you move to the suburban, you may find a new house there looking really nice, and yet you may find that at first you're really excited because the house looks so good and everything, but then after a while you're like, hey, I am not used to it because I used to just go downstairs, just go onto the street and walk across the street, and I can get food, I can get whatever, but now it seems like everywhere I go I have to drive, right? So if you keep having those kind of comparisons or those expectations, it's not going to help at all. And I think the first thing we have to remind ourselves is to focus on the positive side and remember why we make that choice, why we made that decision, because there must be something that attracts you to do that action, at the beginning, to move at the beginning, right? So I still remember when I first came here to be a student. I went to New York City, and at first I was like, oh, cool, and I met a lot of people and I'm happy and everything seems to be good. But yet after a while, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I thought New York will be a big city, right? And so everything should be really modern and good and whatever, because to me New York, okay, fashion, right? That's what you think of, good food or things like that. But then I find out, oh, how come the subway is so dirty, and you may see a mouse in there and that is unheard of, in the subway station in Hong Kong, or maybe at least I didn't see it, right? And so it's a big difference. So if I keep making that kind of comparison, it's not going to help at all. And I remember the other thing that I think of was how come the road here are so bumpy, and then eventually I find out why. Like, first of all, for the subway system, we have to understand when you go to a big country that has been established for a while, that's usually the case. Just because it's so huge, right? They cannot really tear down everything and fix it again. But once things get older and older, things may happen, there may be some wear and tears and things like that. So we have to understand. And for the bumpy roads, because there are a lot of traffic, a lot of trucks going in and out, right, in the city, and so that is why. So after you try to understand it and focus on the positive side instead of the negative side, you feel good, you feel better about it. So that is my first tip for you. And the other tip for you is to make friends. Friends make your heels I can't say it. Friends make a huge difference. Okay, so why is that? Because you know that you have a good support system where you are. Usually that's the case. It can be your coworkers, it can be your friends at church, it can be your neighbors, it can be your friends that if you haven't moved since you grew up in a place and you go to college there or whatever, if you haven't moved, they are your friends and they are locally, you can see them, you can meet with them if you want. But once you move, that may not be the case anymore, especially if you move to another country, that may not be the case anymore. However, it may be good. Like, of course, you keep in touch with your old friends, right, existing friends, but if it doesn't hurt to make new friends. And especially if you are moving to another country, for example, a lot of times there are Facebook groups or other kind of groups on social media that you can join. For example, people from the US in Italy, for example, I'm just making that up, but I'm sure there will be a group for it. And I've heard many groups like that in the past, and it's really helpful because they will tell you as simple as where to get food that resemble what you had in your home country. For people from Hong Kong like me, will look for like those Hong Kong style cafe, or at least you can get some ingredients that you can make those things. Which grocery store can I get some snacks from the Asian countries, for example. So those are important information, and once you join those groups, it's easier for you to find out that information, and that will help you to adjust because you won't miss your home country as much or your home place as much. And the other thing is to really try to make friends, right? Not just get in there and see where to get things, but also start making friends there, and that may be a really good thing as well. Because a lot of times if you look at some countries, like some places like in Hong Kong, is really small, right? And people can get together really easily. If they want to hang out, it's easy for them to just go have dinner or do something together, have a drink. But if you look at the positive side, in the US, the good thing is the place is so big, your house can be bigger, because in Hong Kong the places are so small. The houses are so small that you may not feel comfortable having your friends over, especially when you're living with your families and all that. But in here, that is a different story, and you can always entertain people at home, and it's easy and it's fun, right? So focus on the different things and try to make friends. That is that is helpful, and I think those are the 2 tips that I want to give you today. So let me recap what I said today. So first of all, there are 3 stages. At first you feel really excited, happy about it, and then stage 2, you may find some difficulties, and you may not understand why you're here anymore. And then number 3 is that you will eventually adjust, especially if you change your expectations. And the 2 tips I gave you was 1, try to focus on the positive side and don't compare. And 2nd is to make friends through groups, through other means. You know, if you go to church, for example, you can go to a Chinese church and friends if you're Chinese. If you are, if you are the Japanese, you may want to, go to some Japanese hobby kind of thing. And depending on what you want to do, it doesn't have to be even from your own country, right? When you make friends, it can be the same hobby as well. So there are many things that you can do. So that's it for today. But before we go, I want to share Bible verse with you. I'm not sure if I did share this with you before because I really like these Bible verses, but I think it will be helpful to you. Okay, so it's in Proverbs chapter 3, 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. I think a lot of times we may or may not understand why we are doing what we are doing, or we may regret certain things that we are doing, like we're not sure, confused. But if we focus on the Lord, and I'm sure that He will strike our paths, and He will let us know why we are doing what we are doing, because He's guiding our way. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Share this with your friends if you know anyone that may find this helpful, and click on the bell if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the channel and you will get the notification when I upload my next video. Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye.